Let's create the popular puffy bow using reflective insulation. I first measured out my bow dimensions. My bow measured 13 inches wide and 57 inches long. I'm adding wire to the sides of the bow to help structure it and make it more bendable. I accomplished this using wire and paper tape. This was the most tedious part of this entire project. Otherwise, it was fairly simple. Now we're going to cover the bow with fabric. I found that using a hot glue gun worked just perfectly, but you can sew it if you like. Just be careful, it gets very hot. Because my fabric was on the thinner side, I did double it up. Now we're ready to assemble the bow. I just folded it in half, made sure that it was even, and hot glued it in place. Now I'm taking wire. Make sure your wire is long enough because you'll use this for the tails as well. And I'm tying it as tight as I can to hold it in place. The tails were very long as this is going to be used to frame a front door. So I went from the floor to the chair to back to the table. Now let's create the fishtails. I just folded it in half and then cut it at a diagonal, forming a triangle. Then I just repeated it on the other side. I then added wire to the ends of the tail. This part is optional. Now we're going to repeat the process of hot gluing the fabric and doubling it up. If you're using this method, make sure to keep your fabric as straight as possible. Now we're ready to cut the fishtails and glue the fabric in place. Next, we're going to create the center of the bow. This ended up looking like a boxing belt, and I had to continue cutting it to get it to the right size. But once I did, I just added a piece of wire down the center and repeated the process of gluing the fabric to cover it. Now we're ready to assemble. Using the wire from the bow, attach the tails. Make sure that your tails are hanging exactly how you want them before securing it. Now we're going to add the centerpiece, and I use hot glue to secure this in place. I cut off the extra fabric before gluing. And there you have it, a front door bow for my client. And just look at how she installed it. She did a great job.